Okay, this is the eBay video I'm doing for my DN5500s. Just doing it to show that they're all in good working order and that everything's still tight. Yep, so just the old play button. So you can see it's got a spinning platter, which is like a turntable deck. As you can see, it's got quite a bit of move on it. It does come with this little attachment here, which stiffens it up. That's more if you do a lot of scratching, so it's like nice and tight. If you just do like spin backs and you're not bothered about scratching or beat juggling, then you don't need to have it on. But speaking of beat juggling, there's a little button here called mirror mix, which I've already engaged. So as you can see on the turntable there, or on the mixer, we've got the cables plugged in there and there. If I press play, you can see that lights up. If I press the button that's flashing up here, that's the mirror mix play button. You can see that's now engaged. And then what you can do, and as you can hear, it sounds like you're beat juggling. It's a cool little feature. You know, it's not something that I really use that much, but it's there, so I thought I'd show it off. Also, you have a brake function, a dump function, and reverse, just to show those. So you can see at the moment it's up at 4 seconds. You can adjust that. It doesn't have to be 4 seconds. You can adjust it right down so it's like a turntable snap, turntable brake rather. Got a dump mode, which if you check out the time there, so it's not like slip mode. It's basically it's a dump feature. So when you press it, it will sound like it's reversing, but in actual fact, the music will continue. If you do this for 3 seconds, the track, once you disengage it, will be 3 seconds further along than what it was when you first pressed it. You've got the reverse button here, which is quite handy sometimes. You've got built-in effects on this mixer as well. You've got a filter, which has got so it's got a mid-pass filter, low-pass filter, high-pass filter all built in. And you've got a flanger built in, which has all the different beat sample timings, like delay modes for the flanger. And then you've got an echo loop function. You can do, just like on the Pioneer EFX1000, you can do effectively feedback loops, apart from like with the Pioneer EFX, you have the buttons to punch in and out to change it. That's just once it's gone, it's in its loop mode until you turn it off. But that comes in quite handy sometimes. The buttons up here, you've got hot cues. That's for the mirror mix. So basically you've got 3 hot cues, and then you've got a hot list that you can set up. The good thing about this deck is, even though there's just one deck there and one deck there, effectively they're 4 decks. What they have is 2 sound cards inside of them. So if I press this button here, display mode, you can now see another screen has come up, and it has layer deck 1, deck 2. You see there's a little blue light down there. If I press the button, it now switches over to that one. That one's now engaged. And that comes in quite handy, especially if you're doing a party and you don't want to bring all your stuff along. You just literally bring one deck along, and you've got 2 decks in your hand, which is really good. It's got key lock, pitch adjust right up to 100%, pitch bend there. This also is a press that button there. That then becomes the pitch bend, but just like on a Pioneer where you've got the little slider bit on the side there. It is MIDI enabled. Like, you can just plug this straight into Virtual DJ. It's all mapped up, which is quite cool. And it's got looping, hot loops. And you can adjust your loop as you go through it. Also, because it has 2 sound cards in it, you can just leave it just to play on its own, and you can set it up so it mixes in 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Obviously it won't beat match it for you, it will just start it. So maybe if you're doing a playlist, you need to be aware where your beats are. But that's quite cool. When you're at a party, you can just leave it and go off, have a drink, have a little mingle, then come back and do some mixing. Also, it's got a forward reverse button on the bladder there, and then you've got this button here. That's for like scratch DJs. That's what they do, I guess. I'm not a scratch DJ myself. I'm a house guy. Also, you have desync, which means that you can press this button here. You see. So basically, I've got my hard drive plugged into this unit here. This unit here will now read what's on the hard drive of that unit, which is quite cool. You need a crossover cable. I will be sending the crossover cable with the deck so that you can just start up straight away with one hard drive. But basically that means you can just do that. So you can see there's nothing plugged into the back of that one. That's the cable for the MIDI that goes into the PC when I'm using Virtual DJ. And that's pretty much it. One thing I will say is sometimes when it's dead center, see it's like there, it's 00, like it doesn't like to be dead center anymore. I guess that's just where it needs to have a little service, but anywhere else it's perfectly fine. It's just dead center. See, it's now 0.20, and a little bit past dead center is where it actually is. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. But if you want it on dead center, then you just turn the pitch control off, and then you won't have that problem. But equally, if you are mixing, it's it's very unlikely that you're gonna need to have the pitch slider at dead center. But that is the only thing that doesn't work perfectly fine on it. Other than that, it's still super tight. Yeah, so that's the little units I've got there. You can see they do look quite pretty. I don't know if I should have just said that or not, but yeah, they look good. Right, thank you. Goodbye.